Hey, what's up everybody? Billy, Gym City Welding. Want to welcome you back to the channel. Today's video is going to be the 63rd annual Cavalcade of Customs Cincinnati. Really awesome show, had a great time. Just one of the best shows you could possibly go to in the wintertime here in Ohio. And got to see a lot of good friends, make new friends, and had some awesome dinner and just a good night in general. So stay tuned. Watch the episode, and then I got a very special speak on the topic at the very end. So thank you. See ya. Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Sean. He's from Dayton, Ohio. This is his truck. He built this with his own two hands in his garage. Lots of cool details, really neat stuff. Sean actually won a couple awards at this event. He picked up a Hard Luck trophy because he had some mechanical failures when he was actually coming down to the show, and he got through them, and kudos to you, Sean. Great job. He also won Best Rat Truck, which was, in my opinion, the best one there. So he did an outstanding job, details everywhere. Really cool build. Good job, Sean. Hey, just wanted to give another shout out to a very good friend of mine, Josh Shaw. He's the guy that's been responsible for Survivor Alley at the Cincinnati Cavalcade of Customs for so many years. Josh is just one of those guys that knows everybody and has a lot of friends in the industry and has a lot of friends with really cool old school lowriders and hot rods and rat rods and big trucks and choppers and you name it. Josh has been able to bring these guys consistently every year to the show and feature them. And my hat's off to you, buddy. You did a great job. He's actually the one that got me involved a few years ago with displaying my vintage BMX bikes. So thank you for that, Josh. Sadly, this is going to be his last year doing this show. Not that he won't be in attendance ever again, but this is his last year, I believe, putting this event on. He's left it into really good hands, and it's going to continue on and carry on the tradition. But I just wanted to thank you, buddy, for everything you've done, and the show is better because of you. So thank you. And coming up, we got the King of the Road, the big semi monster truck that you see, winning his trophy for Best of Show. And my buddy Sean winning his 2 trophies for his rat truck.
That is the biggest thing you can see in this area too. That king over there, the big monster truck king. That is Tony Schwartz. He's up there talking. There he is. There he comes. Right on. Sean, the gentleman that won our club, is here.
Survivor Alley.
So we got to get him his trophy. Sean also got another trophy, the best rat truck. Right, Josh? Yep. You got 2. You got it. So tell us a little bit about that hard luck.
Well, I drove all the way from Dayton, sitting in line, and my alternator died, and the truck just completely died, and had to push it all the way in here. But I drove up here Friday morning and put in a brand new battery and alternator in the middle of the show.
How many kids were giving you crap about doing it in the middle of the
There's
show?
quite a bit. There's quite a bit. Quite a bit.
The good thing is they learned something.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cool talking to all the kids up here. I was impressed at how many kids were actually here.
Cool, congratulations, man.
Sir.
And that wraps it up. So thank everybody for hanging around.
The video doesn't do this truck justice. It's so hard to tell from the video, but this thing was massive. I don't even know how they got it into the show, to be honest with you, because it's so big. But it was cool to see it. Thanks, Josh. this is Justin Cox's Buick GSX drag car, fresh build. Look for it in the Cincinnati area coming up pretty soon, or at your local track, or maybe even the street. Who knows? But beautiful build. Great job, Justin. If you're a fan of the Street Outlaws TV show, this is Jeff Lutz's new 57 Chevy for the TV show. Fresh build, absolutely beautiful car. I've got the opportunity to meet Jeff many times over the years, especially when he was an NMCA championship driver and a Hot Rod Drag Week driver. But a really cool car, nice build. really cool to see. For you guys who've never heard these are called zingers. They were really popular in the 70s, kind of like Ed Big Daddy Roth style creations, and it was really cool to see them at the show. You just don't get to see these very often. So whoever brought these, I really appreciate it. The kids were drawn to these pretty much the whole day that I was there, so really neat. So here we are, we're walking into the third floor at the Cincinnati Cavalcade of Customs. If you've never been to the show and you live in this area, you need to make a point to come down and check this place out. This place is absolutely beautiful. Always loved coming upstairs, seeing all the different cars. You typically will see a lot more imports up here, but you get a good mixture of everything from muscle cars and hot rods and stuff like this here. This really wild car. Love it. Great build detail. Very cool. And this truck was one of the things that I did not expect to see at the show this year. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen a build like this since I was probably in my teens. If you grew up in the 90s and were building model cars and mini trucks, this was pretty much the best you could get. I always wanted one of these body kits, but really cool throwback build. I don't know if this is original from back in the day or a new build, but at any rate, it was gorgeous. The wheels were perfect. The front grille, I mean, you just don't see stuff like this anymore. So thanks for bringing it. Shout out to Dedication Car Club Ohio chapter. You guys put on a great display. Awesome time. Thank you. And another shout out to Al from Dedication Car Club. He's one of the prospects. He had the custom painted Nightmare Before Christmas bike at the intro to the video. This is his Impala. Very clean, very cool car. Just really well done car. Very good quality. Love the paint, love the interior. Yeah, take a look at that. That's so cool. So great job, Al. Love the car, buddy. And those wheels are sick. And just want to say hi to the Dedication Car Club Kentucky chapter. They met up with our guys here in Cincy and put their cars on display, and it was really nice seeing them again. These guys do some amazing work. Very, very good people. So shout out to you guys. And a big shout out to Westside Lowriders. They're from Hamilton, Ohio. It was cool seeing those guys, and I got an opportunity to talk to some of the club members. I left the sound on for this video because I'm not sure if it's the bagger at the end of the video here or if it was a Lincoln, but it was banging. So that was pretty cool to hear indoors. So whoever that was, kudos to you, man. That was pretty cool. Hey, so that concludes the Cavalcade video. So I wanted to thank all of you for watching. It was a great time, great show. And just a couple final thoughts. Josh Shaw, thank you, buddy, for Survivor's Alley. That's always one of my favorite parts of the show. Truly enjoy that. Dedication Car Club, good time with you guys last night. I didn't take any video of it, but afterwards we had like a club get together between with our club and the Kentucky chapter, and got some bowling, got some food, a couple drinks. Awesome time. Love seeing those guys. And shout out to Westside Lowriders. It was pretty cool getting to talk to you. There was one club member from Westside particularly, and forgive me, brother, I'm sorry, I'm so terrible with names, but getting a chance to talk to you last night, that was pretty cool. So thank you for watching the channel. And so now we'll get into our Speak On It topic. And it's kind of a tough one. Didn't want to post anything in the intro or even in the title for the video about what it's about, because it's such a new thing still fresh in people's minds, and I'm not like a big attention grabber like with headlines on YouTube, and because there's a lot of people that post videos about things that are current events just to gain likes and views and stuff, and I'm just not about that. So I figured I would give it a little bit of time before I brought it up. But it's a tough one, and I'm not a big, how do I say this? I'm not someone who just goes, off the wall or crazy when a celebrity passes away or something like that. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, when that kind of stuff happens, but I don't know them personally, and But this one's kind of different. It's about the passing of Ken Block. If you haven't heard by now about Ken Block, he passed away unfortunately in a snowmobile accident. I think it was probably close to 2 weeks ago, maybe. I don't really remember the exact date, but yeah, very unfortunate, very untimely passing of Ken. And my connection to Ken is a little strange one, so you'll have to bear with me. If you've ever heard of the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, which I know that probably sounds weird, but if you've never heard of that, look it up. It's pretty much like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is like a parlor game where players challenge each other to take an actor, and within 6 moves you can be connected to Kevin Bacon. And that's kind of actually how my connection to Ken is. I was very fortunate to meet Ken probably 5 or 6 years ago at PRI, which is Performance Racing Industry Trade Show in Indianapolis. I don't believe that Ken was a special guest. I think he was just there on his own, just hanging out and checking out some stuff. But I remember seeing Ken walking through an aisleway, and of course you recognize him immediately. I mean, it was Ken Block. And so I had to go up to him and say hi and shake his hand, and he was a very, very nice guy. One of the greatest things that's ever happened to me going to that event was meeting Ken. Very humble guy. But in a nutshell, the thing with Ken is like I got to know Ken through other people. Like when I was growing up, I really didn't know Ken, but I knew Rob Deerdeck because Rob Deerdeck, we grew up in the same town. We went to the same school. He's a little bit older than me, but growing up in Dayton, Ohio, in the late 80s, early 90s, I was an East End kid in Dayton, so I went to Ohio Surf and Skate, and I'll throw a picture of that up now. But Ohio Surf and Skate was pretty much like the mecca for skating in this area, and they had a small little ramp in the back, and I'll show a picture of that. But long story short, that's where Rob Deerdeck would go sometimes, and he would skate and do his thing. And Rob was sponsored by DC Shoes, which Ken was a co-founder of DC Shoes. And so Rob that was his first sponsorship with a company. And he was also sponsored by Alien Workshop, which was also a Dayton, Ohio company. But that's a whole nother story. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that my connection to Ken would come through Rob because his sponsorship through DC. And Ken was instrumental, obviously, in skateboarding shoes, skateboarding culture. I mean, the guy was involved with everything: snowboarding, snowmobiles. It didn't matter. He was a part of that culture, and so that's kind of my connection to Ken before I actually got a chance to meet Ken in person. And then, of course, here in Kettering, we have the Rob Deerdeck DC Shoe Skate Park, which is huge. It was one of the first built in the country specifically for skating in mind. So that was pretty cool. DC sponsored that. Ken sold out his part ownership to Quicksilver. I believe it was in the mid 2000s, and made a lot of money at it. But the brand, he was able to move on from that brand. And that's kind of one of the things that made Ken unique, is that Ken could start pretty much anything he wanted. He could start a company, and the guy just had, the greatest sense of like what was popular, what was the next thing to come. He was just really good at that kind of stuff. And when he started up Hoonigan, that was big, and still continues to be big, and hopefully it will remain, in the forefront of our culture with automotive culture. Ken was one of those guys that would, start a company and make other people famous, and through his sponsorships and stuff like that. But ultimately, Ken ended up becoming famous himself, which is really rare, for someone to be able to do that. And the other really rare thing about Ken was that he was a world rally car driver for the United States. And to put that into perspective, more Americans have been to the moon than have raced in world rally car driving. So let that sink in. Ken was a rare one. You know, he had lots of starts, lots of podium finishes. I don't know his exact record because the guy just raced and raced and raced and raced, and he was very, very good at it. And sometimes, you know, he would have a co-pilot like Travis Pastrana. They would race together. Of course, his partnership with Subaru, Ford, which we'll touch on in a minute, and then later on Audi. You know, Ken was just a hero and inspiration to a lot of people in our culture with automotive. And I will never forget the first time I saw the Unicorn, his Mustang build with partnership with Ford, which lasted 11 years and just recently ended as early as last year. But the Unicorn was just incredibly, just over the top. And the kind of, you know, my channel isn't primarily a lowrider channel, even though I focus on that a lot. I try to show other things, and this is kind of like my connection with Ken to the lowriding world, was that when Ken did the LA shoot for the Unicorn video, he made sure to incorporate, you know, Los Angeles culture, showing Chinatown, showing all the different spots in LA, but more importantly to me, he featured a lowrider in his video, and I'll show that here. And that was big. I remember seeing that for the first time and just like, you know, goosebumps just seeing it. And so that made me proud to be a part of that when I first, you know, was able to witness that, just like everyone else. And Ken was just absolutely amazing at driving. And you know, beyond the driving, there's the humanitarian part of Ken was like his raising money for charities, and the things he did with Hoonigan, his partnerships with major companies that would contribute towards charities and stuff like that. And Ken, you know, was a husband and a father, and by all accounts was just a, you know, a great person. And it's unfortunate. You know, we're going to miss him. I don't know where Hoonigan's going to go from here, like the brand, the company. I hope that, you know, they will carry on the tradition and honor of Ken and the spirit of Ken. And I know that the rally car, they retired Ken Block's number, so that was pretty cool. But, you know, Ken has a daughter that's old enough to drive now, so hopefully she'll take over and continue on, you know, her dad's legacy. I'm trying to think, there might have been a couple other things that I was trying to think of here. Forgive me. Oh, his, unfortunately, you know, before his passing, he had parted ways with Ford after 11 years and had switched back to Subaru and was working on a partnership with Audi, and they built the Hunatron, which if you haven't seen that by now, go check it out on Hoonigan YouTube. The Hunatron was, by some estimates, a $12 million project car from Audi in partnership with Hoonigan and Ken Block. And his video of him drifting that thing through Vegas is just insane. It's so cool to hear. I'm not like a big electric car guy. I mean, they're cool. You know, I'm not on that bandwagon yet, but to hear that thing wind up, it reminds me of like the little Tyco RC car you had as a kid. It brings back all those memories, and I think Ken captured that perfectly with this video in Vegas. So that's what he was working on, unfortunately, before he passed away. But you know, my hat's off to Ken. My hat's off to Hoonigan. You know, he'll be missed. So that's pretty much going to conclude this speak on a topic. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. About 85% of my viewership is unsubscribed, so please subscribe. Helps me out, helps the channel out. You know, spreads the channel so everybody can see it. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, take care.